Success of immotion. I will try to pronounce these two words, emotion and immotion, as clear as possible. This is one of the two final speeches on emotion and immotion. In previous speeches we saw many things about emotion. Let us try to get a short image. The general point is that emotion is an aggrandized feeling. When sensitivity is touched, we tend to shout or cry. A feeling can become greater, loud, impressive by emotion. That is the word that we use for it. In general, the original feeling itself is expressed in a more impressive way. But in the long run, it can lead to inflation. The original will be filled with feeling. The original feeling will be filled with feeling and become loud, but also hollow. When we are not impressive enough to our own opinion, even aggression may follow, as we all know, especially of course in the case of negative emotion. What then does immotion mean? Immotion is first of all a homemade word. Excuse for that. It is literally a movement to the inside, an interiorisation. It is not the same as repentance, although repentance can lead to the interiorisation of emotion, of course, and to peace. This movement to the inside is ultimately based on the belief that the process of emotion is not always preferable and can even be harmful or noxious. But ultimately, emotion is based on the belief that it leads to more content, more personality, more unicity, more integration with innumerous other feelings we have, more contact with personal will and inspiration, and in the end, more impressiveness. And that is remarkable, because it was the impression to the others that was one of the goals of emotion, at least of conscious or deliberate emotion. Let us now continue about the success, the benefits of emotion. First, we have to make a difference between positive and negative emotions. The emotions that become emotionalized, interiorized. Well then, in the case of positive emotion, positive, beneficial, inspirative feelings are enlarged, intensified to positive emotions. For instance, I start liking a piece of music. It is a small, subtle and intimate feeling. Suppose I become an emotional director later on. I make great movements with my arms, have all kinds of extravagant facial expressions, and so on. In the latter case, the original feeling is emotionalized, so to say. Positive emotions are often used and much more conscious than negative emotions to transmit and communicate the original feeling to others. It is a way of communication by exaggeration. It has a positive goal in principle. Popularization of classical music is an example. In drama and theater, and also in film industry, it plays a great role also. Nevertheless, enlargement by emotion is not always successful. It can be overdone. Then it does not evoke deeper feelings, but irritation, feeling of being bored and so on. And if positive feelings are very and extremely and repeatedly emotionalized, they can get lost even. Then the original feeling is not there anymore, but a perversion of it. Here lies the danger for drama and for all arts, in fact, the danger of snobism. Many times it is forgotten in drama, less in movies, however, where the subtlety of the images is better to be seen, is better visible. It is forgotten in drama that emotion, as we call it now, the immotion, as we call it now, can do much more. People are sensitive. They feel the underlying content of emotion, the underlying feeling. Besides that, there is another law of nature, so to say, and that is that emotionalized emotions, emotions that we try to integrate into our personality, into our other feelings, our will, into our whole cosmos, tend to become deeper. In the long run, of course, because emotion is in fact not a short process. It's not something you do in just 1 minute. It is a long process. In that case, when the emotions, the feelings have become deeper, because of the fact that the emotions are emotionalized, are interiorized, in that case, the original feeling will communicate itself in a more subtle and permanent way. Then it becomes possible to insert an authentic feeling behind or under the emotion also. So then the emotion has more content, even while it is an emotion. But the emotion is then not necessary anymore, because the feeling submits itself on a deeper level. In general, not always, classical music is considered to be more feeling and sensitivity and sensibility than pop. Pop is more emotionalized, is more emotion. It is also an expression of hurt feelings many times, of frustration or rebellion. And it is good that all these feelings find an expression. Of course, the difference between classic and pop is not absolute. It is continuous, it is flowing. Classical music is, or tries to be, more an expression of those heavenly feelings that we humans sometimes experience. And of course, classical music can be manneristic and even be a copy of former, more authentic expression. A copy in form and structure, of course, not in content. Next time, we have to think about emotion of negative emotions, which is a very important subject, since the emotion of negative feelings causes many conflicts and wars.